This football club's home ground is inside a chocolate factory. Welcome to Cadbury Athletic. Not only do they produce some of the best chocolates in the world, they've had a conveyor belt of young footballing talent turn pro. We're at the iconic Bourneville Recreation Ground to find out how they plan on producing their next big star. First of all, Dan, what a lovely place to play football.
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Quite picturesque. It's good to be back here after opening season. We've had 6 or 7 away games on the bounce. We didn't finish the season here either, so it's nice to be back home for a bit.
There can't be many pitches in this league as good as this. Does this help with your tactics and how your team like to play?
It does help us. It does help us, especially with how we want to try and play. But yeah, I think compared to a lot of the pitches in this league, even those with 3 or 4G, a lot of teams in this league do enjoy coming here because of the quality of the pitch and the facilities.
What attracted you to this job?
Well, when they approached me, I think the history of the name Cadbury Athletic carries a bit of weight, doesn't it? So it would have been quite disrespectful of me to kind of not acknowledge that fact. You know, it was only 2 years ago that they went the whole season unbeaten. So that as well, recent successes and especially at this level, it's not the level that a club like this should be at. It's a challenge and a project for myself to re-establish what was to kind of go forward with what can be.
Is it quite frustrating that the club can't get promoted because of the lack of floodlights?
It is, but behind the scenes the club are working hard to try and rectify that fact. Because as I said, we do get 150 plus at a home game on some occasions, and that's including ground hoppers. Last season we had ground hoppers coming from Scotland, Newcastle, all over.
Amazing.
Just to come here because of the venue. So it'd be a shame if it couldn't happen here.
The club has had a rich history of producing some brilliant footballers, Damari Gray, Daniel Sturridge, Rico Henry. As a manager, is it quite frustrating that those kind of players don't get as far as the first team because the youth academy setup is so good that anyone of a really good talent gets picked by the clubs in the area?
Don't get me wrong, I'd love for the next Daniel Sturridge or Rico Henry to be coming through the pathway, but the fact that we do have that pathway through the junior teams, our 21s and our first team, for me, it's not just about let's get the best players into our first team. If there's an exit route for them to go into an academy, go into a development centre, or go down that route, that for me is what we're all in it for. It's the development of the player first, rather than what sort of player can we get from the under-16s to get into our first team. If they're good enough at that age, can we try and look at other routes? And we, last year we had an under-16s that didn't even go into our 18s or 21s. They went elsewhere, a few steps higher. So for me, it's the development of the player first. But don't get me wrong, if one did come available, I wouldn't turn him away.
The Cadbury Athletic youth team was full of footballing talent, and one man who played alongside arguably its biggest star is still involved in the club today. Former manager and now coach Oliver Hartill.
When did you join the club?
From under 8s till under 10s, and then I went into academy football, and then I stopped playing academy football at 18. Got a bit fed up with football, and then I've come back for a year and played here, and then unfortunately after that I stopped playing. I've done my cruise ship. When
you were playing for Cadbury Athletic, you were in a team that had some very good players, including Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah, so basically Daniel come and played for us, and he's actually a year younger than me. So we played a year above his age for Cadbury's, and I think we stormed the league in the two seasons, and I think he scored 100 goals between us. So he scored about 60, I scored about 40. And then we both went to Villa together. I stayed at Villa till 14, he went to Coventry, and then he signed for Man City. I think they gave him a house or something like that, and then went and signed for Man City, yeah. And I remember one time we played him in the Night Cup. He was playing for Man City, I was playing for Blues actually, under 14s. And we were just about to kick off, I took kick off and he shot from the halfway and I got him. So, he's, brilliant player.
He's not the only one that's played for Cadbury Athletic as a youngster and gone on and played in the professional game. How come this team has produced so many top quality players?
I think it's because it's quite central to Birmingham. If you look around, obviously, it's just a really nice place to play football, and throughout the years, it's just got a reputation of breeding good players.
What is the pathway for a youngster that's in the Cadbury Athletic youth team?
So basically, what happens is, when you go through the ages, you enjoy your football, and suddenly you stop playing at 16. There's loads of young lads do that, so we want them to. That's why we've got an 18s, and we've got a 21s, and then we've got a first team. So ideally, we want them to end up going through their motions, 18s, 21s, and playing in the first team. But if they are too good for us, then we'd like to see them progress on and obviously go home and play in the Premiership or the Championship or anything like that.
And with its history, has the club got good relationships with the clubs in the area, like Wolves, Birmingham, Aston Villa, West Brom?
Yeah, Well, I believe so, yeah. I think there's some sponsorships and everything going on from with Villa and Blues, and obviously I know that they both sponsor Cadbury. So Cadbury sponsor Villa and Blues. I'm pretty sure they do, and I think they sponsor everyone but,
except Cadbury's Athletic.
Yeah. It's it's just a really good place to be, and as you say, when all the away teams come down, they're like, oh. Like the coach was just saying, I wish I was playing today, because it's just a nice surface and it's a brilliant place to play football.
Do you ever get distracted by the smell of chocolate that comes from the factory?
Yeah, it's sometimes, it's at certain times of the day you can smell it.
I can smell it now, it smells amazing.
It, yeah.
Do you get any perks from Cadbury? Do you get free chocolate or anything?
Unfortunately, we don't. So you could have a word with Cadbury's about that, but yeah.
Inside the Hogwarts changing room, I was hoping to see some pre-match chocolate to give the players a boost, but turns out they just have bananas and oranges like everyone else. However, on display were the core values of the Step 7 side, which got us thinking.
What kind of characters have you got in the changing room?
We've got some players that are quiet, some players that aren't afraid of voicing their opinion, players that will look to try and encourage the player next to them and drive our standards, because one thing that we're big on is it's all good and well having the best players in and around the changing room, but you've got to have a personality and a character that can add to the squad, be beneficial to the squad. It's characters and personalities that can aid what we want to do as a squad. Yeah, we've got a range of personalities. We've got jokers, we've got pranksters, we've got players that take care of the fines that are atrocious. But it's all part and parcel of being a squad, isn't it?
What are people getting fined for at Cadbury Athletic?
I've got an outstanding fine. You wouldn't believe it, the other night, for wearing white socks.
Why can't you wear white socks?
I don't know. I've no idea, but it ranges. You could misplace a pass in training, or you get nutmegged, or be the worst trainer on the night. And then on match days, it could be you're late. It could be not having flip-flops or for the shower. And it's silly, but at the same time, it's morale. It's kind of banter in the changing room.
Brings the togetherness.
Yeah, of course. Some people, like, if they want to dispute it, it goes to a little committee, and if they fail, it's doubled.
And what's the fine for wearing white socks?
I think I've got a £3 fine.
Oh, that's all right.
As the players began their warm-up, we thought it would be a good time to get to know some of the squad at Cadbury Athletic.
Do you ever get distracted by the smell of chocolate coming through on the pitch?
I'll get distracted at anything. Don't tell the manager that. I think that's my team. I'll be like the team.
Why are you not in the warm-up?
I'll do my own little bits and bobs. Got my band and I'll get me warm as well. Also, Birchie likes to be in the one there the most. If you just pan the camera to Birchie, he'll be in there for half an hour. Come on, Birch!
Whilst Birchie enjoyed the rondo, we were alerted to some new fine rules.
Late, if you don't shower, if you get megged as well, that's a big one.
It looks like it's going to be an expensive day for Wadey, but he wasn't the only one. If you're wondering what the bell noise is, that's the Bourneville Carillon. There's only 2 in the UK and 1 is here. Basically, there's a guy playing it whenever he pleases, which apparently seems to be all the time. With 3 new fines to be paid up, plus the gaffer's white socks debacle, someone has to collect the cash, and that guy is known as the Enforcer, or Rene to his pals.
So Rene, we've got you down as the Enforcer. Tell me about it.
It's just mainly to keep players on standards, make sure the standards are up, It's a long season, there's many games to be played. If you let your standards slip early, there's no hope for you at the end of the season. So don't be late, make sure you wear the right equipment, make sure your boots are clean, make sure everything in the clubhouse is done, make sure you train well. We used to have a couple of silly ones like no white socks.
So the gaffer said that he's been fined for wearing white socks.
He's been fined for wearing new boots as well. But it's just to make sure the boys are always engaged and always happy, so.
What does that money go towards?
So mainly towards any socials we do or anything that, the players want to do in the season and whatnot.
What's it like playing on this pitch?
Oh, it's a great pitch. It's a really nice pitch. The groundsmen, the committee keep it really well and nice done, It's one of the best pitches in this league, definitely.
And that smell of chocolate comes through all the time. It's really tempting, isn't it?
It really is tempting. If you lose your head for a brick moment, you never know what could happen.
As the smell of dairy milk drifted across the pitch, we couldn't get distracted as there's 3 points on the line today. And getting the lads prepared is player coach Scott.
So what are you doing now? What's the little drill?
Just a bit of pattern of play, just get touches on the football, get them used to obviously the service. It's our first home game in about, 6 weeks, I think, so because of the cricket. So the lads are not used to playing on a half-decent surface because some of the pitches in this league are not particularly great.
Who are the biggest characters in this changing room? There's quite a few.
I don't know, I'd say RJ's is very, very eccentric. He's out there. He's always got something to say. Wade, yeah, he's always got something to say. He's a bit of a character. Birchie on the nights out and the banter, he gets hammered a little bit, and he's no good anyway, so it don't help either. Yeah, so but he's our starting centre half, so there you go.
Do you always get a lot of stick on a night out?
On a night out?
Yeah.
From who? The team?
Yeah.
Or, you know what, tonight's actually my first night out. I only joined this season.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Where are you going tonight?
I don't know, British Oak or something, and then apparently Town, but I don't know.
What's your first experience of playing for Cadbury Athletic?
I've really enjoyed it. I've settled in a lot better than I did last season with my old team.
What's the banter like?
It's great, to be fair. It's yeah, I try to take the out of people as much as I can, but yeah, it's enjoyable, yeah.
And have you been fined yet?
Yeah, I had to put a tenner in last week. I don't know what for, but I just saw my name with some money next to it, so I just threw my money in the pot, basically.
Love it. Have a good night out.
Yeah, thank you.
With kick-off fast approaching, there was still one man we were keen to meet.
I did some research about your goalkeeper. He loves a Cruyff turn. As a manager, does that worry you?
It does, but like I said, I'm never going to kind of put a cap on somebody's expressing himself. So one thing I did, he had a little, like last season, he had a little GoPro set up behind the goal. I was like, no chance, you're not Ben Foster. But I like players to be expressive if it's beneficial to the team. And I think Fraser knows that. So, like, if he's being put under pressure, I know that he's comfortable in possession to try and get himself out of it. He's one of the players in the team that, you know, on his day, he's probably one of the best keepers in the league. And he's kept out a lot of teams this season with his ability. So I'm never going to try and cloud somebody from trying to express himself in a game. And he's one of the characters in the changing room that can do that.
Fraser, the gaffer said that you were the biggest joker in the changing room. Discuss.
I'm just a clown, to be fair. There's always something to be said. No one wants to talk sometimes, you know. You've got to get the dressing room going. It doesn't even need to be good jokes. Something to get everyone talking.
He also said that you wanted to put a GoPro in your goal, but he didn't allow it.
Yeah, that happened a while ago. I used to stick it on the barriers behind, in fairness. Since I stopped doing it, I've been better, in fairness. So.
Did you have my mind on the GoPro then? Make sure you made a good save for the cameras.
Yeah, I was trying to catch stuff, and I was like, I can't do that.
We did our research and looked on your TikTok. You love a Cruyff turn and just making the attackers fall for a hot dog.
Yeah, I do like that. I always tell people I'm still good at football. I'm just bad at moving. As long as they think I'm going to do something, it's all right. It's not really a Cruyff turn. It's just trying not to fall over and hoping the ball goes where I need it to.
Who'd you base your goalkeeping abilities on?
Oh, that's a great question. Grew up watching Peter Schmeichel, but really it's René Higuita.
Oh yeah, have you got that in your locker?
Only with one leg.
Will we see any of your ball skills, should I say, on the pitch today?
Maybe. Depends on what happens, you know. If the situation's there, I'll have a go. I'm not as quick as I used to be, so I sometimes have to get rid.
How much do you enjoy playing for this club?
Oh, I love it here. I mean, you just look around. It is just class to play at. It's like proper British heritage. Plus, they let me wear these long pink tights. So
I was going to say, that's such an outfit, isn't it?
Yeah, so they let me do pretty much what I want with what I'm wearing, so I can get away with that. He asked me what colour kit, so I wanted them in pink.
If Fraser's skills don't go viral, maybe a game of Winner Stays On, the Cadbury's edition, will. Let us know in the comments if you agree with Fraser's selection.
Dairy milk or curly whirly?
Dairy milk.
Dairy milk or crunchy?
Crunchy.
Crunchy or double decker?
Crunchy.
Crunchy or Freddo?
Freddo's got ahead of himself with his 20p's nowadays, hasn't he? Got to stick with crunchy.
Crunchy or twirl?
Crunchy for me. Still crunchy.
Crunchy or whisper?
Whisper.
Whisper or mini eggs?
Whisper.
Whisper or picnic?
Whisper.
And finally, whisper or cream egg?
Cream egg.
How do you eat yours?
Badly.
And how do you like your team to play?
I can't be telling you that. No, we like to be expressive. We like the players to take responsibility of certain roles and responsibilities, but we also like to be pleasing on the eye, but also at the end of the day, it's the results, isn't it? So some fixtures you have to try and set up in a way to make sure you get a result out of it and make sure that you're hard to beat. But at the other end, you want to try and play on the front foot and be an attacking force at the same time as well.
Here we go then, it's the Chocolate Men versus Birmingham United. A massive game, 3 points on the line. But first, the lads had to try and move the home dugout as it wasn't in line with the technical area.
Really, really important that we outgraft them. We talk about it all the time. Last season it didn't happen enough. This season it's happening and we're getting results, okay?
Always back each other. If you see your man get beat, say, F that, I'm going to cover for him. Simple as. He's my teammate. We're here to back each other. We're going to make mistakes. It's expected. It's how we rebound from the mistakes, yeah?
Yeah.
Friendship on 3.
Yeah, that for your camera. Someone found a phone and someone's mummy has texted them. Oh dear. And they're a Villa fan as well.
The home side started the brighter of the two and almost took the lead when Wadey's cross was either well defended or missed terribly by the forward. From the resulting corner, Cadbury should have gone one up, but the shot sailed over the crossbar. Check this out for a pass. Luka Modric-esque outside of the foot and straight into the path of the Birmingham player, who taps it past Fraser and slots into an empty net. Then there was a break in play because the ball was flat, so player slash coach slash now ball pumper Scott came to the rescue. With the ball now fully inflated, Cadbury's next effort technically looked brilliant, but just needed a bit more power. Our player slash coach slash ball pumper Scott was then subbed onto the pitch. He chugged down a Red Bull and was ready for action. But unfortunately, that next action was a Birmingham United goal. Some neat play down the left, and the strike found the bottom corner. 2-0 to the away side at the break. It didn't take long before 2-0 became 3-0 as the visitors worked well down the left again to slot home. However, the goal of the game has to go to Devlin. He battled well in the middle of the park and then produces this delightful attempt that sails into the goal. Game on at 3-1, but it was game over a couple of minutes later. A through ball was missed by the centre half. There were calls for offside, but VEO proved it wasn't, and it was game, set and match. As the rain hammered down, it quickly became 5 as United took all 3 points. However, that didn't stop Big Fraser from showboating. Well, sort of. A final free kick was saved by Birmingham. It may not have been the result we wanted, but the smell of constant Cadbury's chocolate was well worth the visit.